You're entering the future-ready CNBC TV 18 Ebix Cash Studio.
Hello and welcome to Bazaar Morning Call from the CNBC TV 18 Ebix Cash Studios. I'm Prashant Nair, and with me in the Mumbai studios, actually I'm in the Mumbai studios, you guys have been in the Mumbai studios, Sonia and Surabhi. Hi guys, good morning.
Good to have you back, Prashant.
Well, glad to be back. So, we kind of pick off from where we left off yesterday, right? The Nifty closed in the positive territory yesterday, although it did come off quite a bit from the highs of the day. Actually, gains yesterday from start to finish, actually from day before yesterday's close to finish, were cut in half. So about 86 odd points higher as far as the Nifty close is concerned, about 17,500. The good thing was that the Nifty took support at a level we've been highlighting, which is the 20-week moving average, which stands at 17,216. And from there, it saw this smart bounce. So, this becomes the big marker on the way down. This is a level, by the way, which has not been violated since March of 2020. After the rebound began from the lows of March of 2020. Today, we will see if the market can build upon yesterday's move. The first level, because, it's going to be, maybe, we don't know, it's not going to be a sharp rally up without any stops. People will try and sell the rally, see, if the bottom holds and that kind of thing. It's always like that. The first level in that process to watch is the swing low, which was 17,613, which was made on the 29th of October, which got broken out, and taken out in the last 3-4 days. So 17,613 is the first level now on the way up. That is a little over 100 points from yesterday's close, but no point talking about higher levels. We have to hold this, take this out, and then we'll get to, sort of more on the upside. To the global stuff now, US last evening confirmed that it will release 50 million barrels of crude oil from the strategic petroleum reserves in coordination with countries like China, Japan, India, South Korea to curb oil price rise. Well, what did the energy markets do? It pretty much brushed off this entire thing. It's like a drop in the ocean. WTI and Brent actually gained 3 and 3.5% respectively. That's telling you how tight the underlying oil markets really are. Energy stocks in the US were in focus, and I think that's one pack you should keep an eye out. ONGC, for example, did quite well yesterday on very large volumes. Overnight, Wall Street has done pretty well as well. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both bounced off about 1% from intraday lows. So S&P was up a little bit, Nasdaq was down, but off the lows by quite a bit. So it's a constructive kind of setup that we have as we start today's session. Cryptos notwithstanding. Sonia, hi. Surabhi, hi.
Hi, Prashant. Welcome back. Hi, Surabhi.
Hi, morning.
I'm glad you brought out, this news on cryptos because it's sort of tied in, right, with equities. Yesterday we were speaking with Rajesh Srivastava, and he said that a lot of money perhaps is moving out of equities and into crypto. Equities is not the only asset class to invest in. Now, with what the government has announced, so first the news flow, the government will move a bill to prohibit all private cryptocurrencies. Now, in this, I spoke to a lot of stakeholders in the crypto universe. They say that there is a bit of uncertainty on the definition of private cryptocurrencies. Now, Bitcoin and other major cryptos are known to be public crypto and not private crypto, but of course that clarity is needed from the government itself. The aim that the government has is to create a digital currency by the RBI, so to facilitate a framework for that. And that launch of a central bank digital currency, or CBDC as it is commonly known, is expected by the RBI as well. But a lot of crypto stakeholders are reading this positively. So there's a tweet by Nishit Shetty of WazirX that will come up for you. He says it feels like Feb 2021 all over again. The crypto regulation bill has been listed for the winter session. The description has not changed, so there is nothing new. And it's good to see that people within the government are aware of how crypto works. So a lot of people believe that if there are legislations in the crypto universe, it will A, remove the confusion on cryptos, B, it will, put in place a legality on holding and transacting crypto coins, which currently no one knows what the legalities are. So let's see how this plays out. Of course, as per the latest data, there's a big fall that we've seen in the crypto universe. So Bitcoin, Ether, Cardano, all down about 15-20%. We'll get some experts to talk about that, but this is going to be the big story, I guess, in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'd want to see how sort of this picks up in terms of international headlines as well as there's more clarity, because I think the confusion yesterday was that if you looked at global crypto, that wasn't shaken because of this news in India, whereas of course prices in India on the Indian crypto exchanges, they were down. So we'll of course get you lots of perspective in this as the day progresses. Just a word on the money market action as well, because while I take Prashant's point that there was recovery from the lows on some of the tech names in the US, the Nasdaq did end down. And this is a familiar tango. We've seen it in the past 1 year, where the yields start moving higher in the US. And because of that, there is a sell down on growth stocks, typically tech stocks. And that was what was playing out in the US markets yesterday. Now, what's happening to the yield? Ever since Powell's announcement came through, there's a consistent move up. 1.64 on the 10-year. It actually touched a high of 1.678 in the session overnight. The high for the year has been 1.77. We're not too far away from that. So the rise in yields is something the market is monitoring. Simultaneously, the dollar isn't showing any signs of a let up. It's still very close to the 16-month highs that we keep speaking of, 96.5. It's around that handle. The 16-month high specifically is around 96, 60, 61, thereabouts. So we keep watching for this and the ramifications, and the underlying factor is that there is some caution in the market as this yield-dollar equation keeps moving higher. The question for me really is, was the bounce for real? Was it just a so-called dead cat bounce because the market was so oversold yesterday? Of course, yesterday's DI selling is still a very, very strong number, also because of the Vedanta deal that happened. But that's something to watch out for, because the domestic institution buying is not able to make up for the FII selling. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, my second question is exactly what Sonia raised, that indeed, if there's more volatility in the Indian crypto market, will people square off positions from one asset class to make up for the other? And I think we'll have the answers as we go forward.
At least for the equity markets, today looks like it's going to be a good day, right? 60 points higher on the SGX Nifty. We have lots coming up for you in the next 2.5 hours. So without wasting any time, first up on the equity front, we have some opinion from GV Giri of IIFL, who says that Q2 FY22 two-year profit after tax compounded growth rate in a sample of 433 of BSE 500 companies was impressive but in line. Companies generally seem confident of taking price hikes to offset the raw material hit. Deleveraging continued with metals and energy leading. Projected margin for auto, media, paints, travel, leisure and tires are well below recent peaks, suggesting imminent margin troughs. IIFL's top 4 sectors now are private banks, industrials, metals and IT, and they prefer large caps. Their top picks include L&T, Tata Steel and ICICI Bank.
All right, let's get you some money market views as well. This is one that's coming in from Kunal Sodhani of Shinhan Bank, who says sour tone of global indices and high US bond yields fuel demand for the safe haven dollar. The COVID resurgence in Europe also bolstered the dollar's appeal, while expectations of hastened Fed tapering lifted US yields. For USD INR, 74.25 acts as a base, while 74.60 to 74.65 is a resistance.
And on the bonds, Neeraj Gambhir of Axis Bank says the market has been trading in a narrow range in the absence of any strong cues on the domestic front. This week, market will track FOMC minutes and its impact on US rates. Development on SPR release and the impact on crude prices will also be closely watched. On the domestic front, market will take cues from the demand in the weekly auction. The range on the 10-year is expected to be 6.3 to 6.40% for the week.